Welcome to the Richard Lloyd USA YouTube channel. I'm Richard Lloyd. Today I'm going to show you how to expand your network using a Wi-Fi extender. In my last video I showed you how to do that using a Ethernet cable and a switch. Well, we're going to use the same hardware in this video, but just going to implement it differently. Well, what do I mean by expanding your network? Well, maybe you need Wi-Fi and Ethernet connection at your home office and you don't have it, but you don't want to run an Ethernet cable from your router to your home office or any of these locations. We will be doing it through Wi-Fi instead, using the same hardware but as an extender as opposed to an access point. So I'll show you all that. Maybe you want to run it to your garage. Well, that'll work there as well. An outbuilding as well. Again, you know, there are limitations on Wi-Fi and how far it can go. So this may or may not work depending on distance. So small caveat there. And I would say in a long distance kind of connection where, you know, speed matters, go with Ethernet. It can go 328 feet at full speed. So, you know, again, see my other video. I'll put it up here somewhere. So yeah, maybe an outbuilding. Maybe you got a shop out back that you need a connection to, you know, no problem. This may do it for you. And as well, maybe you have a man cave in the basement, or maybe you have a room upstairs that is not getting good Wi-Fi access and or Ethernet access. This is another way that possibility that this could fix you up. Again, experiment and see what you get. And maybe you have a Wi-Fi dead spot somewhere, like outside in your yard, or you know, a dead spot someplace in your house. This might help extend your Wi-Fi range to a point where, you know, it's usable where it wasn't usable before. So let's go next here. Here's the hardware we're going to be using. Exactly the same hardware we use for the Ethernet network expansion, but instead this time we're going to use the Ethernet just to connect things to the switches and to the extender. Now, these two switches are got a 5-port Ethernet switch and an 8-port Ethernet switch, both 1 gigabit per second. Both performance the same. Price is insanely cheap. They're very reliable. They work great. I've used them for months and months and months, and heavy without any problem with either one working. They're plug and play. They don't require any kind of configuration at all. Just plug the cables into them and they negotiate the connection themselves without you having to do anything. So they're just transparent to the whole thing. Cat 6 cable for Ethernet, no less than that if you're doing any Cat cable at all. Category 6 is the minimum, especially at 1 gigabit or higher. You know, again, fairly cheap, easy to buy on Amazon. Again, links for this stuff in the video description below. And the last and most crucial part of this whole thing is the Tenda AX3000 A33 access point extender. And I love this thing. I can't say enough nice things about it. At $28.99, it's an amazing deal. It outperforms my TP-Link at, let's see, I should have it over here. And again, as I say here, all prices will vary over time. So again, in the video description below, there will be links for that stuff. Next, you'll see here my TP-Link RE705X, which I do own and use. But guess what? It is not as fast as that Tenda at $28.99. This is $74.99 on sale. And the Tenda beats it, you know, not greatly, but slightly in every category, performance, Wi-Fi range, everything. So I don't know what's going on with the TP-Link, or, you know, maybe the Tenda is just much newer technology or something, but it is much faster. Well, not much faster. It is a superior product to this at less than half the price. So yeah, I can't, you know, recommend that Tenda any more than, you know, I am right now. I'm pretty emphatic and impressed with that device. And I use it as my Wi-Fi access point all the time. All right. So here's what we had on the first time I showed you how to do this. We used an Ethernet cable to connect the switch, an access point, and all the computers and stuff, and create a Ethernet and Wi-Fi extension to our network. Well, we're going to do that same thing, except this time we're just going to use the same hardware in a different configuration, and we're going to use Wi-Fi to connect all this stuff instead of an Ethernet cable. Now, Wi-Fi is a half duplex technology and Ethernet is a full duplex technology. What does that mean, right? Okay, Wi-Fi can only send data or receive data. It can't send and receive data at the same time. So it's like having a walkie-talkie. You can listen or you can talk, but you can't listen and talk at the same time. Ethernet can send data in both directions simultaneously without interrupting the flow of data in either direction. So you can send a gigabit of data to a client, and that client can be sending a gigabit of data back to you at the same time, and nothing would be interrupted. Your data would flow to that client at 1 gigabit per second, and the data coming from that client would flow to you at 1 gigabit per second simultaneously. But with Ethernet, you can't, with Wi-Fi, you can't do that. It's either transmitting data or receiving data. It doesn't do both at the same time. So basically what happens is half the time it's sending data and half the time it's receiving data. So there's a lot of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth happening with Wi-Fi that isn't happening with Ethernet. So that makes it slower. But they compensate for that by increasing the frequency of the packets. In this case, it's an AX3000, which means theoretically, total throughput through that Wi-Fi access point should be about 3,000 megabits. Now, that's kind of a misnomer because they're mixing the 2.4 gigabit band with the 5 gigabit band, so it's actually lower than that. So again, technical, I know, but expect Wi-Fi to be slower to do the same thing that Ethernet does. So we're going to go next here. Here's how how I'm configuring everything in this video. We've got the Tenda as a Wi-Fi extender, so it's plugged in, and it's going to be the Wi-Fi extender point, meaning that you can connect clients to it, and it will connect those clients to the router and the internet through Wi-Fi. We're also going to connect Ethernet to that same extender to a switch, which will allow Ethernet clients that don't have Wi-Fi to connect to it and then connect to the network through Wi-Fi. So basically it's becoming like a Wi-Fi network card for all these devices that probably didn't have Wi-Fi connection otherwise. And again, any of these devices can connect to it through Wi-Fi as well. But I'm giving you the Ethernet option here as well to the Wi-Fi extender. Pretty cool, very neat way that these extenders work. So the switch can be the 5-port gigabit switch or the 8-port gigabit switch. There will not be any difference in performance of the switch. Both switches have the same performance throughput. I've not seen any issues at all, or bandwidth issues with either one. They perform the same, and they're transparent. You don't even know they're there. They're just plug and play. You plug them in and off you go. If you have the 8-port switch, you'll have 8 ports to plug into. And if you have the 5, of course, you're going to have 5. So that's how we're going to hook it up. And I'm using the 8-port on this. So the first thing we need to do is configure the AX3000, the A33 Tenda to be a Wi-Fi extender. So I'll show you how to do that here. We're going to click on your Wi-Fi connection or your network connection down here. I'm going to turn it on. There we go. And I'm assuming that you've taken out your extender from the box and plugged it in. And now it's just sitting there waiting to be configured straight out of the box. That's the state that mine is in right now. And again, you don't have to use this. You can actually use other extenders, but I just don't understand why you would, especially at the price. You're just not going to beat this performance for that price. Not that I've found. Maybe you found a better deal on something else. Definitely let me know in the comment section below. I definitely would like to know about that. So here we've got a list of all the Wi-Fi connections available near me, but the one that matters here, the one we're going to connect to, is the Tenda_EXT. That is the actual extender. So we're going to click on that. You can see that it's open. That's fine. That's normal. We hit connect. There we go. And it will open up a browser window that will allow you to configure it. Now I'm going to get, this is what should happen on yours. I'm just going to close this up because there's a lot of noise there. I'm going to open up a private window so that we're just one window. And even then, it tries to take you there. So open network login page. So we're going to click on that. Now, I'll show you other ways to get to it. There are other ways to get to it. So I'm going to click on that. And there we go. Just takes you to the same place. Now, if this doesn't work, you've got an option to go to 192.168.0.254. That should take you to it. So hit enter. Or re.tenda. Let's see if I can see it here. Tenda.cn will take you to the same page as well. There you go. But it should automatically open up. So I'm just going with that here. Oops, there we go. So thanks for choosing Tenda Wi-Fi range extender, faster, safer, smoother, smarter. I would agree with that. This extender also has WPA3, which is a very, very cool. That's a higher level of Wi-Fi security. So, you can choose that if you wish. Here we're going to hit start. Okay, first thing it's going to ask you for is to put in a password for the actual device itself. So in order to log into the device, you're going to need a password. So here I'm going to go with Winter Storm 26. We're currently having one, or we just got over one here in Texas, so we'll go with that. And I'm going to put it again down here. And it's hidden, but if you hit this little icon over here, the eye, it will show it to you. Here we're going to hit next. And by default, it's going to start looking for networks to connect to. It's automatically in extender mode. There is another mode called access or AP mode, access point mode. And I show that in my other videos. So if you want to go to see how to do it with that, you can. So we're going to leave it in extender mode because that's what we're doing. And you can see here, home network Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz or home network Wi-Fi 5G or 5 gigahertz. That's what that means. This is my router's 2 Wi-Fi bands. Now I'm going to choose the faster one, which is the 5 gigahertz. There we go. And then we're going to click on next. And this is kind of, this screen's kind of, it's not really intuitive. Okay, so this is the Wi-Fi name of my router's Wi-Fi access point. So you can see here, it's 5G. But you can see down here that the extender name is going to try and use the same name. You don't want to do that. So what we're going to do here is just put an underscore EXT on it. That way we know that that is the actual extender, not the my home Wi-Fi access point. And the upstream Wi-Fi password will be the Wi-Fi password for your current Wi-Fi that you're connecting this access point to. So here we're just going to put in the Wi-Fi password for my home router, which should be Arctic Freeze 26. Let's see if I got that right. Yep, Arctic Freeze 26. And we're going to hit next. And then it shows you what should be happening on your extender. Again, you can read through this, right? You'll have it on your screen to read. So there it is for you. Here, we're just going to click on extend. And it's going to go through this process. And when it gets to the end, then we'll go back down here and look at the connections. And there's another option, on the Tenda EXT. Okay, so, all right, let's see what happens here. I'm just going to hit OK here, see what happens on that. Yeah, we're not connected right now. So what happened is that we changed the name of the extender. This is going to go away, and we're going to get this connection here, the home network Wi-Fi 5G EXT. That's the extender we just made. So let's just connect on that. I'm pretty sure it won't let us connect right now because it takes a little bit for that to initialize. Let's try it anyway. Okay, they're asking me for the password, which is going to be Arctic Freeze and 26. And if you go over here, there, Arctic Freeze 26. Yeah, I got it right. And hit next. There. Now we're connected to the extender on 5G, 5 gigahertz. So, and then, just so you know, 5 gigahertz means 5 billion cycles per second. That's pretty crazy speed on. That's a pretty high frequency, I would say. Anyways, interesting. There we go. You hit tenda.cn and then we get back to the extender. Now we can log into it again. Let's do that just for fun. Winter Storm 26. Log in. And you can see all the settings that we have here. And I'm going to show you a few things here that you may want to know. First of all, go to the More button and then go to OFDMA. Now, this is a technology that improves Wi-Fi transmission speeds. If your Wi-Fi gear has OFDMA, then this will make it faster. If it doesn't, it won't make it any slower. So again, just switch this on. There's nothing but either a net benefit or no effect at all. So I'll go with that, and I'm turning it on and leaving it. My access point on my router actually does have OFDMA. So that says saved. So we're done with that. That's just one setting I wanted to show you. The rest of the settings you can go through yourself as far as working the access point. But this one is also one I wanted to show you. Currently, it's set to unify 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz at the same time. So what does that mean? That means that whatever connects to this access point will connect to this home network Wi-Fi 5G EXT. Even though it says 5G, it's also 2.4 gigahertz as well. So 2.4 gigahertz clients can actually connect to this as well at the same time. Now, you can change that by going back here and ununifying them by hitting that little button. And now you get two different connections. So this would be the 2.4 gigahertz. So you know, if I were you, I would change the name of it to 2.4 gigahertz if you're going to keep it on that. And this one is now the 5 gigahertz one. But I just wanted to show you that. I'm going to go back to this because it works just fine doing that. I'm going to leave it on Unify. You can change it if you wish. I kind of flip-flop between the two because I like to know which band I'm connecting to, but it happens automatically and it doesn't seem to make any difference. You know, the Tenda access point handles that really well, really easily. So here I'm just going to hit save. And you know, if something messed up and you want to re-extend it, you can do it right here. It just goes through the same process again. We're not doing that. I'm just showing it to you here. And working mode, well, we're on access point, extender mode, which is perfectly fine. So at this point, we're connected to the access point. We are basically connecting to this, just like this. There's nothing, well, we're only connecting to it through Wi-Fi. And then I've got all these other connections already made on it. But right now, we're only going to test connecting to this access point through Wi-Fi to the router. So let's do that. Here we're going to go to speed test. There we go, speed test.net. And as you can see, we're connected. So that's great. We're on the internet. Also over here, I'm going to show you a little trick as well. Go to your connection. There's this little info button here, which is properties. Just click on that. And this tells you everything about your connection. Yeah. And notice this. We're connected at 2.4 gigahertz. So because, as I told you, 5 gigahertz takes a little bit of time for it to actually connect and ramp up. So we're going to test this at 2.4 just for fun. And then we'll reconnect to it at 5 gigahertz. So here, and you know, there's the reason why you may want to ununify it, because then you always know which one you're connected to, right? But that is just an effect of, you know, connecting to it too soon. It takes 5 gigahertz takes about a minute and a half to actually reboot and establish a connection. But that's only when you first configure it. After that, it's pretty well instant. So there we are. That's what we're getting on 2.4 gigahertz connection on that extender. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. So let's go back here and change that. So I'm going to hit disconnect and then connect to it again. And let's see if it connected at 5 gigahertz now. Nope, still not. Okay, that's interesting. Though it does say Wi-Fi 6, and all that, but still at only 2.4. Okay, let's give that one more try here. See what we get for speed on the second time. Much better. Much better. Okay, well, there's no way that's 2.4. Let's go take a look at this. I bet you it already reconnected me. Yeah, there you go. 5 gigahertz, 36, channel 36. So, yeah, it switched automatically. And like I said, it does that when you got the Unify button on. Otherwise, it'll stay on whatever access speed you want it automatically. So, there we go. 442.63. That is the speed we're getting on that. Now, again, I want to explain these extenders and how they work so that you can see what's happening and why you're going to notice that it's not as fast as your router's Wi-Fi will be. So let's do it. Let's connect to my router through Wi-Fi, and that's 5 gigahertz as well. So I'm going to connect here. Connect, and it's Arctic Freeze 26. Again, look over here if you want to see if you got it right. I did. And next, connected. Again, let's look at the speed. And you can see I'm connected to Wi-Fi 6 and 5 gigahertz on 36 and 2.4 to 2402, 2402. Now, just to be fair, my router is like 2 arm lengths away from me to my right now. So, you know, I'm a lot closer to it than I am to the extender. The extender is actually 25 feet away from me and this router. So that's another thing. The further you get away from the router with the access point or the extender, the less your speed is going to be. So let's do a speed test now. Okay, so basically establishing a baseline for the Wi-Fi speed on my router. And as you can see, way faster, right? Now, I know I'm 10 feet away or 5 feet away from my access point on my router, but that's way, way faster. Now, why does that happen? I'll explain it to you here in a second. And I'll minimize this while that's happening. What happens with Wi-Fi extenders, and I'll go through it. It's like, basically, it's like using walkie-talkies. Wi-Fi is a half duplex technology where Ethernet is a full duplex technology. In other words, Ethernet can transfer data in both directions simultaneously at full speed. So it can send data at 1 gigabit per second, and it can receive data at 1 gigabit per second at the same time. It doesn't interrupt anything. So you can send data in both directions and full speed, no problem. That's why Ethernet is so fast, because there's no limit, there's no collisions in that transfer of data when it's sending and receiving simultaneously. On Wi-Fi, it's using one radio frequency. So Wi-Fi, you can pretend it's like a walkie-talkie. And in this case, we have 3 walkie-talkies. We have the Wi-Fi on the router. We have the Wi-Fi on the access point. And then we have the Wi-Fi on the computer. So we have 3. Just pretend you got 3 friends with walkie-talkies talking to each other. Well, you know, if you've ever done this, that all the walkie-talkies are on the same frequency, and only one of you can talk at one time, right? When I'm talking, if you're hitting the button at the same time, you're going to be canceling out my communication. So basically, when I talk, when data is sent from this computer on Wi-Fi, all the other 2 have to listen. And to get that data. And even this one, which is not receiving the data, will be interrupted because it's on the same channel as this one. So they can't do anything while this one's sending a packet. So then it gets to the extender, and it's sending that packet. Now this one and this one can't do anything until that packet gets sent. So in other words, they're sitting there waiting to do something, right? And then when it gets to the router sends a reply. Now, these 2 can't do anything until that data gets to access point or the repeater. And then, of course, once it gets there, it's got to be sent once again, which means these two senders or Wi-Fi access points have to wait for that to happen. So you're introducing a lot of latency and a lot of retransmission on the same frequency of the same data. So basically, that's why it's slower. It's doing twice as much as it normally would be doing, just connecting straight to it, right? So that's why extenders are slow, but there's still a place for them, and they can fill holes in Wi-Fi. They can give you access that you wouldn't have anyway. It's still 400 megabits per second, even though it's doing what it's doing, because basically it's a really fast extender. Again, $28, pretty good deal. Now, the other thing I was going to do here is show you the performance with the switch connected to it as a Wi-Fi extender. Yeah, it still works, so you can still do this. Really cool. So you can have Wi-Fi Ethernet. Again, these are irrelevant. This is what we're going to connect next. So basically, I'm going to go back to this slide. This is what I got connected. Now, this works with the 8-port and the 5-port, exact same speed either way. So what we're going to do is disconnect from Wi-Fi altogether. And again, I'm this computer in this whole scenario, and I'm connected to the switch, and then the switch is connected to the Wi-Fi extender, which is connected to the router. So that's how I'm configured right now. I'm going to go down here and look at my network connections. So view network connections if you want to know where that is. And then I'm going to disable Wi-Fi altogether. I'm going to turn on my Ethernet here, which basically is this cable here on my computer connected to the switch through this to the extender. Okay, so again, we're connected there. Now we're on Ethernet. Now this computer does not know anything about this other than, if you look at the status, 1 gigabit per second. We're connected. There's my IP addresses and stuff. Everything's cool. It doesn't know that this is a switch connected to a Wi-Fi extender. It's transparent. You don't have, when you hook it up this way, the way I have it connected, there's nothing to do. You just plug all these wires in and off you go. As soon as you plug in the cable from here to the switch and the cable from the switch to whatever device you're connecting to, it's connected through Wi-Fi on your network. Pretty cool. That is a cool thing. So back to our test here, and let's see what kind of speed we get now. And it should be slower, of course, because now we've introduced the extender again, right? So let's go. There we go. Now again, we're not doing any Wi-Fi right now. It's all through Ethernet and then through Wi-Fi. I'm trying not to be too confusing. But you can see that the performance is pretty well the same, right? Excellent for a Wi-Fi connection as far as I'm concerned. If you look at this, yeah. So if you want to extend your network through Wi-Fi, then, again, you got to accept these limitations. Let's go back here. And you can see the speed I'm getting through here, which is, completely acceptable. Now, the 19 up is a little slow, but my cable internet only gives me 40 megabits per second maximum upload. So it being chopped in half, you remember, back to our diagram, right? We got this going on, right? So, yeah, a lot of hitting a button to change, to move data. So that's why Wi-Fi extenders are slower. Again, reliable. They do solve a problem in the sense that you don't have to use an Ethernet cable from your router to that configuration, which is, great, really. I mean, you get all this connectivity. It will extend your network. It will fill Wi-Fi holes. And but again, don't expect full speed through it because of the limitation of half duplex, technology or radio technology. So that's why no one ever tells you on these extender videos why the extenders are slower. Well, that's why, because they're half duplex technology where Ethernet is full duplex technology. So again, if you want speed, go to that video that I pointed out earlier on, or we'll probably put at the end of this video, to use Ethernet instead of the Wi-Fi extender in this fashion. as an access point, it's very fast, and you'll see it in that video because I test it there as well. Okay, that's how you extend your network using a Wi-Fi extender. Again, links for this hardware in the video description below. Again, help me out, use those links. Those are affiliate links. They basically give me a little bit of the sale and help me to stay doing this on YouTube and bring you videos like this. And also, it doesn't cost you any more than just going directly to Amazon and buying it directly. As well, you also get the same hardware that I used in this video from the same sellers, hopefully at the same price or lower. Like I said, prices change over time, so I can't guarantee those prices. So again, in the video description below, those links will be there. Also, the comment section below the video description. Put your questions, put your comments, put your suggestions, put anything you want to say to me, put it in there. I appreciate the feedback a lot, really. Sometimes the questions get answered with videos. I've done that several times in the past. Some questions are asked so many times that I go, you know what, I'm going to answer that question with a video. And, again, I'll give you a shout out for doing that. I really appreciate that as well. And if you do have a video suggestion, definitely put it in there as well. And anything you want to say to me, anything you want to feedback to me, definitely in there. I look at it regularly, usually daily, and respond to it daily. So again, you can interact with me there. Also, give me a big thumbs up. Give this video a like if you liked it. And that helps me with YouTube to promote my channel. The more people that like it, the more they throw it out to people. And then you help them out too, because now they get to see my video and it helps them as well. So it's a win-win either way. So give me a like. I really appreciate that. If you like my content and want to see more, definitely hit the subscribe button. As part of the process, hit the bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time I put up a new video, and then you can watch it at your leisure. Once again, I want to thank you so much for watching and your feedback and everything that you do for me on this platform, YouTube, of course. Also, just like always, take care of yourself and stay healthy, stay happy, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.